Welcome to Strength Hammer, where if you rally on this podcast, you get back no more than 10 wounds. And 10 listeners as well.
Yes, there we go. That's right. We got a new Battle Scroll update, episode 51 of Strength Hammer Podcast. And we're going to do a nice conservative 4-hour deep dive on this two-page document that just ruined the Arcane Tome and Rally.
Aha. All you guys trying to shove an arcane tome into corn can suck it.
Ah, darn. I mean, there was a nice trick with it. I always feel bad when like an update comes out after like Vince on Warhammer Weekly does his review. Because last night they were talking about briefly tricks with the Arcane Tome, and then the next day they wake up and okay, here's 20 minutes of your show just useless instantly.
Oh, hilarious.
So Neil, welcome. Episode 51. Video
We made it.
I might have a slight stutter lag because I got my old girl of a PC here. She's doing her best.
Mhm.
But yeah, I didn't see you this past weekend like after Adepta won't. Sad.
Yeah. We do have some new surroundings now. I moved down to the basement for
Joining
today's
me
show.
in the basement. Yours is much nicer than mine.
Well, you haven't seen the unfinished side. So, or have you? Yes, you have.
I have. They haven't. They never will.
It looks like a hoarder's nightmare.
I got my concrete floors still and my concrete walls, but I'm making my own. The other side's got gyms. I got a new, this is kind of going right into the fitness chat. I got a new banner for my gym.
Got a new banner for who?
For my gym.
Oh,
Yes.
what's
So,
the banner?
it's a very copyrighted image that I'm surprised got printed of it like Taylor Swift at her last concert series of her just like in a power stance singing, and I just put Lift and Swift. I was like, it's $20. It's like $10 shipping. Let me throw it. I expected a response very quickly saying, sorry, copyrighted, we can't do that. Nope.
uh,
A week later it shows up. I'm like, oh, okay. I even forgot I ordered it.
uh-huh.
So that's exciting.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
Yeah. Other than that, fitness, just going to the gym regularly. No real true program or plan right now. Just kind of doing the bro stuff 3 days a week. Do the push pull, hit the big movements, and just enjoying it right now. That's kind of where my thing's been. Although I did just I don't know, deadlift day. I was like, I've never done 400 plus pounds for reps, so I did 405 for 3, and I had so much more in the tank. I was like, I feel good. So that was very motivating. And tomorrow's deadlift day, the day you're all listening to this. So maybe I'll do more. Check out my Instagram or my Twitter, strengthhammer_.
There you go. Powered up.
Yeah. What about you?
Make
How's
sure
your...
you're one of those shirts with the chest hair sticking out. Which I enjoy.
That's actually all I wear to the gym. So this is tangentially fitness.
Mhm.
So I used to be a schmedium guy for a long time, all through high school, college.
Right.
It was within the last, I'd say, 6 months. I don't feel comfortable in those shirts anymore. They feel too tight, which is a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
But now I feel better in a large, which sucks because I have a huge wardrobe of shirts I really like that I just don't really want to wear anymore.
Me and a schmedium looks. It's a lot of belly showing, and actually, my daughter walked by wearing a crop top the other day, and I decided that I would actually curl my shirt up into a crop top,
Oh,
and I
yeah,
just kind of chased her around the house, looking like that, and just thoroughly disgusted her and embarrassed her. And it was great. It was
that's
wonderful.
awesome. That's what you gotta do. Try to adjust my lighting a little bit,
Mhm.
be a little bit more natural. There we go. That's fun. Have you done any other fitness besides chasing your daughter around the house, making her feel embarrassed that you're a father?
No, I wish I could say I have, but tell you what, spring is in the air, and I'm kind of wanting to get out and do a little jogging here soon. So if this weather starts to hold up, so
Yeah, I
might get
know.
out, get some running.
I think we got a decent weekend. I mean, your weather is my weather, just 8 hours later.
Right.
So today was rain a little bit, but I think this weekend they're predicting for me mid to high 50s and sunshine, so it might be a good time for you to get out.
Mm-hmm. Starting to take the dogs for walks, all that fun stuff.
There you go. Yeah, move. Just
Probably
move.
should have been doing that through the winter, but much like me, my dogs just get fatter during the winter, and when the air warms up, we go back outside.
Got a hibernation in the rocket house. I love it.
Mhm.
Okay, well that's fitness. Get that usual bit out of the way, but we gotta talk a little bit of hobby. There's been some hobby going on both of our ends. And we should be very clear. So whenever you listen to Big M's Power Hour and they talk about hobby, they don't do anything compared to what you and I do, Neil.
It's not even close.
No,
It's
I don't know if Cole's
peasantry
even.
type stuff.
You printed Cole's recent army, and I don't think he's even primed it yet.
He has primed it.
That's
He
your
has
hobby.
actually started painting it a little bit. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
all
still
right.
counts as my hobby. Until they're actually painted, still counts as mine.
Exactly. And then Matt, I don't know. Well, Matt finds something he wants to do. He throws all of his effort into it, and by the time it's time for it to happen, he's exhausted and doesn't want to look at it anymore.
He's done with it, right? Because it's usually like 2 days before the event starts. We can talk about that, right? Can we talk about what we just signed up for?
We can, but like let's save that for the end of the hobby. We'll do like a little like sub phase,
Mhm. Sure.
But
So,
yeah, current
but
hobby.
go on. Well, mine. I'm actually going to run back here since we're on video.
Oh, nice, perfect.
Oh,
He's picking them up, bringing them over.
everybody, have a look here. Look at this bad boy right there.
Ooh.
We got a little Stormcast dragon here, and then we got a little 3D printed dragon. For
Nice,
those
nice.
you kids who can see that, but so I'm not sure I love the way that thing turned out, but
That's fine. You know what you
good
could
enough.
do? Dry brush like a lighter color on the membranes, just a little bit on that printed dragon for your high elf. Might make the wings pop just a little bit more. Just
It's my screens and stuff don't really show, like, and when I take it in my light box for whatever, it like washes the model out, but it actually kind of is supposed to fade like that. I don't know.
okay.
See it in if you see it in real life and you still have that opinion, let me know, and I
Okay.
will do.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, you're right. Like, yeah, it's. I'm terrible at taking pictures of models too. I try, and occasionally I get a good one, but my best pictures of models is when I take them outside in natural sunlight.
Mm-hmm.
Oddly
Well,
enough.
I can't take good ones anymore because I got this new iPhone and it's got the 18 cameras on the back and it's supposed to be this amazing thing. My old iPhone took much better pictures of all my models, and this thing is trash. So I know that there's like some kind of app I should get to make that better, but I don't know what I'm doing.
It's called Instagram, and you just steal like some high-level painters pictures.
Right. Look what I did.
Fine. Look what I did. Yeah. What else? What else you got going on? Anything on the printer right now, or any other painting besides the I mean, there's a lot of dragons. That's not just one Stormcast dragon. You did what, 4 or 5? You
I
did a
did
whole
4.
army.
I did 4 of them. None of those were for me.
Right.
Those are all for my friend Matt. That's as if you've been listening to this podcast, I've been talking about the commission work
Mhm.
that I have to be doing. You helped me out with a bunch of the Slanesh models up there, so
Yep.
I did butter up the Lord of Pain. We got the Lord of Pain with some gold on there,
Nice. Yep.
and I did the 4 dragons. Painted a bunch of Hero Quest heroes. That dragon was printed and painted within 2 days.
Yeah, it's
And
got
then
to
I
cure a little bit at least. You can't just start priming right away.
Oh no, you actually can, because I have my curing machine and it sits there, it zips it, it cures it in 3 minutes.
Oh,
You
wow.
take it out, you burn that bad boy. Yeah,
Okay.
it's so. What else? Oh yeah, I got to print the tonight. I'm going to print the guy on top. We're going to cure that bad boy. We're going to prime him tomorrow because I'm home with my kids tomorrow. That's going to be hopefully done by tomorrow.
I can imagine you
And,
get one model done.
Right.
One lone model hero done in a day. That shouldn't be a problem, even with kids
What-
running around.
What's interesting is that dragon that I was just showing you right there is it's a Last Sword miniatures 3D print sculpt, and it's one of 3. So those are actually meant to rank up in a unit of like
Oh.
monstrous cavalry, right?
Oh, wow.
So I am going to print out all 3 at some point. Now I know I can't use them in Warhammer Fantasy Battle, but
Yeah, you can.
which
Why
is
can't
why
you?
I printed that in the first place. But
You can use
um,
individuals for Warhammer.
exactly, and I know I can't have. I might be able to fit 2 dragons in a really bad army list, but I wouldn't put that past me.
We'll
But
just play 3,000 points.
right there it is. There it is. So, but yeah, it should be kind of neat to just see them, even if they're just displayed, kind of ranked up and everything.
Oh, for sure,
So,
for sure. Nice. My hobby, I'm still on my dwarf vacation. Well, it might be almost over or kind of over. It's in a weird spot. So, this past week I painted 15 hammerers, 10 iron drakes, 10 iron breakers, uh, and then what else did I paint? I gotta look at pictures. It's been a whirlwind of a week. It's only Thursday.
mm,
Yeah, longbeards, iron drakes. Oh, stone thrower, the old metal gyrocopter, which, whew, I never want to build one of those models ever again in my life. The metal ones, the new ones, I've built the new plastic ones, and they're a joy and they're fun.
yeah.
Boy, this thing sucked ass, so
But
hard.
the heft of the pewter,
Oh, let's say
just something.
it's together, it's solid, and it feels good. But I don't ever. I mean, thankfully, in old fantasy, there's no need to ever have more than one,
Hmm.
so we're good
Yeah.
there. Um, oh, and I kit bashed my own Ungrim Iron Fist. That's the Slayer King.
Oh yeah. Hmm.
I finding his model was just getting kind of rough, and to be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of his classic model. Because so
I
now it's
love
like I
it.
took an extra like dwarf body, I put on a Fire Slayer's head. So like, and honestly, like I think my conversion looks a lot more, and he's got the biggest freaking axe I could find.
Hmm.
I think
I love the old model, but I liked what you did with yours too. So,
yeah,
but I
it's
think.
I just think mine looks more reminiscent of what his art is.
Hmm.
So I was pleased with it. I was very pleased with it.
Yeah.
Let's see, I did a new BSB and also new Lord with shield bearers. So or on a shield, whatever. He's being carried by two guys on a shield.
I just imagine your witch elves just sitting over there on your shelf, like watching this happen and getting very jealous, plotting your death in various myriad
Oh,
ways.
no, don't worry. They'll get plenty of love. Here's the problem too, like with like I have everything plus for my daughters of Cain
Hmm.
that are staring at me. I have
Hmm.
everything at least twice over for that entire army, except for Maratha. You only need one.
Right.
Um, and I even have a bunch of
Well,
allies like themed and painted to match that army exclusively.
technically, you have a second Marathi, only it's terrain.
That's true. Yeah, it's right over there. I can see it.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, so I have two of everything.
Yeah.
So where I'm at with Daughters of Cain, even though it's my favorite army, I only add to it whenever I'm going to add in an allied unit. Because then I buy it, I theme it, I kit bash it, and add it specifically to that army. So it's like it's a very unique home. Like I have
Mhm.
generic stuff. Like the only thing I don't have for that army specifically would be endless spells other than their own. But I also don't
Mhm.
like using endless spells too much, so I just gave them generic basing.
Right.
But with all that said, with all those dwarfs done, also at the weekly barn night, I built and primed a table of Age of Sigmar terrain. So we have a table there, so I'll paint that eventually. But I
Nice.
am currently without any models in my backlog. Now there's GW backlog sitting down there, but I I can't work on it because whenever I do work for GW, I have to clock in and there's budgeting. So until they give me hours to say, hey, you can work up to this many hours a week on it, I can't do anything with it. So that's GW's backlog. That's not my backlog.
Nice. Love that.
Yeah. But also, yeah, like tonight, I've just been sipping on beer, staring at my models because I didn't know what else to do. Uh,
Mhm.
I did find one thing to do because I realized with the dwarfs. So back up, my high elf army, I have every unit to a solid level. I have every hero version, variant. I have renamed. I have it all. I was like,
Mhm.
well, I wonder how close I am with the dwarves because I have a lot now. So I will be getting very shortly from my FLGS because I've done some work for him. Some miners, which I don't
Mhm.
have, flame cannon, which I don't have, and a bolt thrower that I don't have.
Nice.
Actually, what's oddly enough is the
What
miners.
you don't need, what you don't need, what you don't need. Not for a gamer.
Nah. Well, it's funny. I actually painted those miners for him a long time ago as another favor, and he put them
Hmm.
on rounds, and they just never sold. Then he painted those two war machines. And I said, like, I'm kind of interested in buying it, and like the way him and I work, he's like, Chuck, I'd rather have your time and your skills, not your money, because that's worth more. So it's like, okay, so we always do that.
Yeah.
So I'll get them back. I'll put them on squares, and I'll go with my dwarf army. And then I
Hmm.
realized, oh, I'm only missing 2 models from a complete dwarf collection. That's the Gyro Bomber, which I ordered today,
Yeah.
and High King Thorgrim Grudgebearer, which
Yeah.
you saw in the chat earlier. I'm gonna have someone 3D print it, either
Yeah.
you or maybe one of my closer friends that has a 3D printer, because
Hmm.
that model is $300 on eBay, and I'm not spending that. And most of them are fine cast.
Yeah. Yikes. Yeah. I mean, I don't love that 3D print that I have, but it's the only one that I've found so far.
There's
Uh,
there's 2 I found of that guy. Um,
yeah.
One is way too ornate, like he's like sitting back and he's like drinking from a drinking horn, and I don't love it. The,
Okay.
the one that we were sharing back and forth, um, it's at least reminiscent of the classic model.
Right.
So
We get away with it. I don't know. The sculpt, I feel like if you put it in the same army with a bunch of G-Dub sculpts, even though those are older G-Dub sculpts,
well,
just don't feel like it's got the same feel to it.
the,
So, but
the thought I have possibly is if I can get if I can at least get him on the throne, I can swap out the axe for a better axe. I can
hmm
swap out even just not have the guys carrying the throne of power printed, and just get GW sculpts for that to help blend it in
hmm
a little bit more.
Right.
So
Yeah.
we'll see. Like it's exciting. So like within like a probably a week's time, I'll only have just him to get, so I can like kind of take my time and peruse and maybe find something better. You never know, or maybe find a good deal. Any listeners out there that have an extra Thorgrim Grudgebearer or know of one that's not ridiculously expensive, let me know.
hmm Yeah.
But that also then led to looking at my Dark Elves and my Wood Elves going, what do I need to complete those?
Yeah. I will say too, like with Old World imminent, um, you never know what they're going to come out with for any of these
I
armies. And so
know.
if you spend $300 on an old sculpt and then they come out with one that's like way sweeter,
Oh, for sure.
that would be so you might as well just do a cheap 3D print and just wait, bide your time, you know?
Especially, I think, for the named characters, I think you're absolutely right. Because if
Mhm.
they're going to focus on new armies, we're going to get, like, probably the Empire, Tomb Kings, Bretonians, stuff they don't produce anymore.
Right.
So, like, the other armies, the love they're going to get, I assume, would be more character specific.
Hmm.
So, like, you might see a new Tyrion and Teclis. You might see a new Thorgrim. So, you're right. But that's a topic for another show. But we'll see. Like, I'm going to get the dwarves done. I'm gonna look at the dark elves because I only need a few more sculpts out of that to have at least a little bit of everything. The wood elves is much farther away because I have almost no of the tree people. But that does kind of tie into our topic for the night. Neil, you're going to die one day. I'm going.
Probably soon.
I'm going.
Cheers.
I'm going. Yeah. Cheers, sir. To your health. I'm going to
Ah,
die one day.
mhm.
Everybody's going to die one day. And once you understand and learn and realize that that's the truth of the world, you suddenly have less stress because go check out Stoicism, guys. It's great. I love it. It makes life more relaxing. Um,
Mhm.
so, with the knowledge that you're going to die, Neil, I'm sure you have a list of things you'd like to do in your life before you die. Now, I'm sure there's grandiose things like you want to visit Rome. Actually, I think you revisited Rome, didn't you?
I've actually never been to Europe.
Okay. You want to visit Rome, or you want to go skydiving, or you want to, you know, watch your kids get married and have grandkids. Like, you have your bucket list, right?
Sure.
We have bucket list. I have a bucket list.
Mhm.
But more specifically, what's your Warhammer bucket list? So let's narrow it down. Let's take those grandiose things away because we're not solving world hunger. We're not going on, well, we might go on some trips with this. But what is on your Warhammer bucket list to accomplish before your time in the hobby's done? Not necessarily death, but your time in the hobby's done. You have to move away from it, or you get sick of it, or I piss you off, and you're done. We're never friends and talking ever again.
don't see that one happening.
Nah,
But
that's probably not happening.
I'll tell you what, um, it's hard for me to. I have to kind of. Do you want to talk through some of the things that we've already taken off our bucket lists
Well, we
at
can
all?
because actually, I have had a bucket list since Age of Sigmar 1.5.
Really?
Yeah, it's coming down to being bored at work for a job I didn't like that I'm no longer at. I threw this together and it's been in my Google Drive where I keep like all my Warhammer like lists and
Uh-huh.
like event stuff, like everything digital for Warhammer. I have in a nice little Google Drive folder.
Yeah.
So, and it's always kind of growing. Like you enjoy the journey, not the destination. Like my hope
Mhm.
is that I never actually finish this bucket list because I hope to add more things to get, because I've already had such a wild ride in this whole hobby thing that I don't know what's next, so I'm just kind of enjoying it and constantly pushing. But
Mhm.
there's some basic things. So, I have one here, attend Adepticon, and then I have the year completed, 2017.
There you go.
Same thing.
That was the first year I met you.
Exactly. 10 Nova
Mhm.
Open, 2017. Like there's quite a bit on here. Attend this event, attend that event. Wapaka,
Mhm.
Holy Havoc, Holy Wars. Um,
Yeah.
but like little things, like things that as I'm looking at the what I enjoy in the hobby, what would I like to accomplish? Um,
Mhm.
I even have on here one. It's like I would love to be a guest on Warhammer Weekly, and then
Mhm.
I end up becoming really good friends with Vince. Like shout out to your brother, hope you're well. And not only did I get to be on the show more than a few times, but now I have the friendship from that too. So like it's like I look back on this and like can kind of like piece together my narrative through the people I know and these
Mhm.
events and the dates. It's kind of fun.
Right.
Um, so, and right now, most of what I have on this list is actually complete, so I need to start rethinking what to add. But
Mhm.
let me throw out some different ones here. So, like, run my own event. Did that
Mhm.
in 2020. Visit Warhammer World. Did that in
You did
2018.
that much earlier than 2020. Technically, on the size, you did.
No, well,
Yeah.
I don't count. I don't count like Nova Open my event.
Hmm.
My event is in like
I'm
Teyrath
talking.
Invitational.
I'm talking about. Oh, I can't even remember the name of it now. It was that narrative event that you ran in Ligonier in the library.
Oh, the snow one.
Yes, it's the name of it.
I
Start
have
start,
I have that.
start with a C. Start
Hold
with a
on.
C. It doesn't matter.
You're
But
right. You're right. Yeah. Yeah. I have
it
the
was
paperwork for that
essentially a
still.
worldwide narrative.
I'm gonna put a check. I'm gonna check the date because you're right. That would count as an event.
That
Um,
would be probably 2017, actually.
yeah, it's Age of Sigmar 1 point. It was like before General's Handbook, I
Oh
think.
yeah, 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 yeah. We're almost back towards pretend riding a horse at this point.
Look at you. You know my Warhammer history more than me. That's
Yeah, because that's actually the first time I came out to see you post Adepticon.
that's true.
Mhm.
Okay, well, I mean that fun little anecdote I'll research later on the side and get that updated. But like visit Warhammer World 2018. I did that because I went to England and I did that for a specific reason. To hit another bucket list item, which was attend a UK event.
Mhm.
And also attend an Air event with Realms at War, which was still the best Warhammer event I've ever attended,
Mhm.
bar none. And I'm sad that
Yeah.
they're done with it, but I got
Yeah.
there.
It's too
Um,
bad. It is too bad because even though I had never attended, obviously, I used to really enjoy. This is probably the height of my Twitter usage. Actually, was when I was just really enjoying seeing what everybody else was doing. This is when like the excitement for Age of Sigmar was just like it was different. It was post Old World blowing up and everything,
mhm.
and people were just trying desperately to make this thing successful and everything. And so just the energy, the creative energy around everything was just through the roof and everything. And I used to love watching what those guys would put together. And actually, it was the foundation for some of the things that I've done.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. And it definitely shows too. Like, but yeah, there was something special, like a magic that was captured, and that team specifically captured it very well.
hmm
So yeah, you're absolutely right. Um, but yeah, like and then there's other things too, like win a narrative award, win a best costume. There's even one submit to a painting competition, not win painting competition, just submit. And I did that at Nova 2018. Did a nice little
yeah.
miniature bust. But what's within this hobby? What's more things that you think you'd be interested? What would you be adding to your bucket list? I mean, bring up a Google sheet right now. Like, build it while you're here.
I would say, I mean, number one, I've had this in the back of my mind forever. Again, never been to Europe, never been to England. I will, at some point, go to Warhammer World. I will go to the Mecca. I will sit down. I will eat at Bugman's.
Don't
I
get
will.
the burger. Don't get the burger. Get the fish.
Don't get the,
or the chicken.
get the fish.
Don't get the burger.
Don't get the fish or the chicken.
No. Don't get the burger. Get fish or chicken.
Okay, all right. They don't know how to do burgers over there. All right, so
I mean, I'm not sure if you ever heard of Mad Cow, but that hit England pretty hard a long time ago, and I don't think they've recovered from it.
no.
You and I have had burgers in America, and
Yeah.
I've had burgers in England, and every time I'm like, why did I waste my time?
Well, given the choice between having Mad Cow and being the leading scientist in your field, which would you choose?
I think I'll take the leading scientist in my field, Neil.
I was worried you'd pick Mad Cow. But no, I really, I really do want to get there and actually just experience the tables. I want to walk through that museum.
Mm-hmm.
I hope to maybe do it one day with friends. That would be ideal for me.
I'm more than happy to go back with you.
I would love that. A long time ago, actually, my friend Matt Farrell, who owns a game shop down here, Battlegrounds in Ravenna, we were planning it at one point, and then COVID hit.
Right.
And COVID continued, and I kind of, because of just everything and, everything getting closed down and everything, I was kind of backed out of going to the shop a lot. He wound up going. He went with one other friend, but I did not get to go with him. So at some point, if you ever want to make that trip across the seas again, I know.
I do. I know my wife does. And to be fair, she stayed around London the whole day while I took the trains up. It's a day trip from London. So we bring our wives. You ditch your kids, all right? You throw them at the grandparents and say, kids, you're here for a week.
Right, yeah.
And my wife and your wife can go to, actually the one thing that, now I don't want to say they go to the Natural History Museum because we didn't get to go last time and I want to go there. Before the world takes their artifacts back, I'd like to see them in one easy, convenient place.
Yeah. Yeah, I would. That would be amazing. Actually, I'd love to see like a history museum, any type of history museum over there in England, because they're stacked with it. So,
oh my goodness, I know this isn't the topic of the show, but like when I went over there to hit these bucket list items and also like meet people in person and explore these events, you were hit because like how old everything is. I mean, in America, like our old is 200 years,
right?
Maybe a little more, but over there, it's like, when was that built? Well, like 800 years ago. How the hell's it still standing? What's going on?
That shit would be dust in America. Yeah, that
was because we build stuff fast and like shit.
100%.
Okay,
they'd have built 15 other things over top of that.
All right, so visit Warhammer World. That is a great one to have. Everyone should have that on their bucket list if you're a Warhammer enthusiast.
Mm-hmm.
What else do you have? Like now, I have other ones too. Like I would love to play, attend an Australian event, Sydney GT.
Wow.
Something like that. Like,
get back to Australia. See, I've been to Australia once.
I've never been there. Yeah. So.
And this was 5 years ago, so 6 years ago at this point. Ooh, God. So this is when I was just getting started with and even thinking about playing Age of Sigmar over there on my vacation. I think my wife would have probably filed papers. But now that we've been there once, that'd be great. I'd love to do it in New Zealand, honestly, because I've been to Australia. I'd love to.
We have to reach out to Dan from AOS Shorts. I'm not sure what type of events New Zealand has, because I imagine a lot of the big events are in Australia and they fly over to it because it's very easy for them.
Yeah, well, I mean, New Zealand. Everybody thinks New Zealand is close to Australia. It is not.
So, guess what? I mean, it's
from Melbourne to New Zealand. It's 4.5 hours in the air. So
I thought it was a little closer than that.
Now Sydney,
it was like less than 3.
Sydney to New Zealand is more like 2.5, but that's still like flying 2/3 away across the U.S. Right? So it's which isn't, I guess, too bad. But
I could get down to Florida in less than 2 hours.
Right. But okay. Yeah, it's still a trip.
That's good to know. Okay, well, all right. So Warhammer World, maybe an Australian, or you even put a UK event.
Mhm.
What else you got? Is there any specific awards and events you've been
Um,
after, or specific events? Like I have on here attend NashCon, which I'm finally doing this year. Like
right,
that's a
right.
bucket list event for me.
Yeah, that is something that I'm doing as well. Very happy to do it because I've been spouting off about how awesome I think their terrain is for a long time.
Yep.
So I can't wait to get and play on those tables and all that. So, would NashCon have made my bucket list? I don't know. What I would like to do if it ever came to the east somewhere, relatively close, or the east pushing Midwest, I would like to attend a GW open event. That'd be fun.
They are a
Um,
blast.
I know it's just probably you go to so many of them that it's probably not a thing for you, but
Well, it's
I'd like to do it at least once.
it's still fun. It's still fun, but it's also work.
Right, right. So,
I'll be honest too. Kansas City is a great one to attend.
Mhm.
There's great food. It's a fun place. It's an easy airport, and it's probably one of the cheapest ones to go to.
They got good barbecue out there.
They have phenomenal, and everyone's like the best barbecue like outside of Texas is in here, and some people even say it's better than Texas. I was like, well, I've had lots of Texas barbecue.
Right.
Let's see, and it is comparable.
Mm.
It's
I need
really
that
good.
spicy sauce. I need that spicy city barbecue style sauce, baby.
Anyway,
Blow my head off.
anyway,
But
shout out. There's still
anyway,
tickets available
so
for Kansas City Open this year if anyone wants to come. We got team event, we got a GT. It's gonna be great. Come on out.
I would like to at some point win a best sports.
There you go.
At some point. That would be nice. That'd be a good event achievement. Winning an event is not. I've settled with that not being a possibility for me. That's never
Well,
gonna happen.
I mean, you
Not
have
even the
to
small ones, I don't think.
you have to
So,
caveat like what
um,
do you mean like as far as an event like because I have some in here, minor events.
anything
Win is
from
okay,
10
or maybe
man beyond.
okay. Yeah, well, like I have in here like win, win a best of award at a large event, which would be to me a 2-day event, a GT, 5 games plus. And I also have win at a minor event, which is just a RTT.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I've managed to achieve both of those because I don't think I could win a GT again.
Hmm.
But yeah, like I mean, you can even segment it down to that far if you want, or you could just leave it blank. Like for you, a win's a win. You win an RTT, great. Best sports at a 1-dayer, awesome.
Yeah.
Like
Hmm.
like what like you got to figure out whenever you're making this
Well,
type of
with my
list, like
style
how
of
you want to
playing,
get into it.
yeah, how I enjoy the game, I don't think that's ever going to be a possibility. I would have to put so many resources towards trying to win, and I'd be worried about because you may not see it, but I'm actually a very competitive person. When it comes to my war games, I bury that deep, and I try not to let that seep out. The only time that ever kind of creeps out is when I play Dave. Outside of that, it stays underground. So I don't know. I don't know that winning an event would ever be, but
Well,
best sports. I'd like for people. It would be a nice thing for people to say, hey, everybody I played said that was the guy that I had the most fun with. So,
that's for sure.
um,
Yeah, and like I said, and
yeah.
it's that. I mean, that's perfectly fair. Like it's got to be like what your goal is. Now, your goal might change. Maybe in 2 years' time, you get super competitive again, and you put it on your bucket list.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I do have a rule with me. If I put something on my bucket list, I don't take it off.
Right.
Even if my mind shifts and I'm not close to attaining something on that list,
Mm-hmm.
I'll leave it there because I never know when my mind might shift back. So, but you don't have to put that on your bucket. Best sports is a good one to have on your bucket list. I mean, that's a great thing for anyone. I mean,
Sure.
you can even do like a max sports score. Like to me, like
Mm-hmm.
even if I didn't win based upon some tiebreaker of best sports, but I was tied for
Mm-hmm.
for the award, that's enough for me.
And technically, I will say I have one technically, and by the way, it was called Coalescence. Um,
Oh yes, that's right.
I have won best sports at Coalescence before, but I would like to go a little bit bigger than that. So anything, let's say anything 20 man or above, that would be the goal there. So,
Okay.
um, but outside of that, this is kind of it doesn't even exist yet. So I don't know if I can put it on a bucket list.
Mm,
But
okay.
recently they did and has been covered on this podcast. extensively, a Warhammer 40K Grand Narrative. And if they ever did such a thing for Age of Sigmar, I would bear no expense to go and do that.
Well,
That
one of the
sounds
expenses would be covered because reasons.
so I would do that 100%. So they just basically need to call me up and say, hey, this is happening and this is when. And I'm like, well, okay, we'll clear the schedule.
I can neither confirm nor deny, but I do know that with the success of the 40K, they would love to do it for more game systems.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, timing, personnel, all that sort of fun stuff. But what I can say too, even if you're just a small, like Neil, you and I play 40K for fun.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember the last time I actually used any more than 2 stratagems, and I've never looked at a scenario in the freaking chapter approved I keep buying.
Yeah.
I buy
I
them.
just bought the last one literally like a week. No, I bought it a day before they announced new edition. I was just like, you idiot.
They got you.
What have you done?
No, but I enjoy playing 40K casually. And with that in mind, the fun I saw for the 40K Grand Narrative is well worth that trip, even if it's not Age of Sigmar, your main game.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely consider it. It's in Atlanta this year. It's not going to be hard to get to.
Yeah.
But anyway,
outside of those 3, I wish I had more of an extensive list. I mean, I've done, when I think back on it, in the 7 years since I started Age of Sigmar, I mean, I've started my own club.
mm-hmm.
I've run my own events. I've run a 32-man event. So middling type, event sizes at this point. I've organized the community. I got to be in on you invited me one year at Adepticon to the community organizers. I got to talk to Pete Foley and give my opinions on things. And
you were listened to.
I mean, I'm sure he wouldn't know me if you threw my picture right at his face at this point, but but that's all right. I mean, it was like for me to imagine when I started this hobby as an 11-year-old kid with, my Warhammer Fantasy army or whatever. I'm sitting there playing with the plastic models, the stupid little cardboard cutout of the Griffin, to think that someday I'd actually get to talk to the people who ran the whole thing, still to this day, blows my mind. I think that's so fucking cool. That's really, really cool. I mean, quite the thing. So
no, you're right. I get those feelings too, and I try to bury them deep down because I know there's still so much more yet to come.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, you're kind of leading into my next point. But just to recap, so if you look at my sections of my bucket list, there's awards I'd like to win, things I'd like to do, either attend event, run this event, or just like kind of milestones, like be actually one of them was be a guest on Garage Hammer, because you and I have listened to Garage Hammer since we immediately got into this hobby, and Dave's been going, and I was thankful to be able to do that in 2021 with some of the Broken Realm stuff. But like, it can be anything in there, like even the travel to the UK to play Warhammer, like travel to it, play in this type of event, play a narrative event, play a teams event. Like I've never played in a teams event yet, despite the fact I'll be running one in Kansas City.
Yeah, I played in one. I guess I played in my own, but that was kind of like kind of running the event / playing it. So
I've been in doubles events. I've never been in a team event where you have like multiple people. You do. That's what I mean by team.
Oh, yeah. I see that. Yeah, I would love to do that. I haven't done that yet.
But like, so if you're making your own bucket list at home along the way here, just like that's the things you want to think about. It doesn't have to be hyper specific. It'd be kind of loose, like, and you can kind of use it as an excuse to do other things, like playing an event in UK. It wasn't just to go to play an event in UK. It was to go visit UK. And also, I'm going to sneak this event in. Like, kind of use it as an excuse.
Yeah.
But you kind of led with what you're saying about all the stuff you've accomplished already. Like, what would you put on there? There is some on my bucket list, and I just highlight them a different color. And what they are is remarkable achievements that if I knew they were possible, they would have been on my bucket list. Like organizing the community, starting, like running the club, becoming a playtester, getting Warhammer Hero. It's like those were never goals because I never saw them as goals. But when I
Mm-hmm.
achieved them, I said, "Wow, like I want to kind of mark this just on the sheet, separated,
Mm-hmm.
like because it's like like very clearly, it's like I was
Yeah.
I didn't set out to become a Warhammer hero, like
Yeah.
you don't,
Sure.
you just love Warhammer, you do that stuff, but it's like I want to add it to this list because it's a pretty cool thing. So if someone ever finds this bucket list in my Google Drive, they go, "Oh, that's neat, he accomplished this," and
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. Yeah. I love that. That's kind of neat because it also shows kind of where your journey's kind of taken you, right? And for people who are, hopefully this is inspiring to people as well. Even if it's just you're just sitting around and you're just playing games at a shop, right? This can be something that you can set. I've always said, like I've always been looking for the person to kind of take over, right? Like
Oh
I'm
yeah,
kind of out there, like
who's that?
even while I'm doing this kind of stuff, I'm kind of like I'm always kind of just looking.
Yeah,
I'm like I'm
where's
trying
our
to
young
see
heroes at?
who's next, who's coming next.
Yeah.
Who can I pass the torch to? Who's going to do all this stuff? Who's as passionate? Who's who? Maybe it's somebody who's listening right now.
Hmm.
So yeah, I think it's a kind of a real fun topic to talk through.
It is, like I said, and I mean, set these goals. Like I mean, always. I'm very much a person that if you're gonna, don't be afraid to set lofty goals. Like set goals that you're just like, how am I ever gonna accomplish it? But if you don't set that goal, you're never gonna work towards it. You'll never know how close you can get to it.
Hmm.
Like okay, like Neil, maybe Warhammer World won't happen, but Warhammer Citadel's in Texas. It's in the States.
Right.
That's much more doable.
Hmm.
Doesn't mean you can't have both on your list.
Sure.
Or it could be your bucket list is attend or visit Warhammer Citadel or Warhammer World. You can
Hmm.
give yourself options. That's fine. But like, don't be afraid to set things. Heck, someone out there who might be gaming on the coffee table right now. You could put on your bucket list, I want to be a TO at Adepticon for Warhammer Age of Sigmar.
Hmm.
Why not?
Yeah.
They'd love to have you, I bet.
Yeah.
Like,
I
and
never thought in a million years I'd be an assistant TO for the Age of Sigmar champions at Nova, and there I was.
yep. There you were. You did it. Done.
Oh my god.
It's also
A lot
fun
of fun.
too, because like the more you think about it too, like I suffer from this a little bit because I've already achieved so much more than I thought I'd ever achieve in this hobby for fun and like not only just like on accolades and things I've done, but the people I've met.
Hmm.
So like there's another reason why some of these goals, like I have more on my list completed than not, because I can't think about what's next, because I feel like in some ways I'm having to predict the future
Hmm.
of this whole industry.
Yeah.
Like I guess I could go on there like have a successful YouTube channel, but I don't care about that. I like doing this podcast because I get to talk to you.
Right.
I'm trying to think what else is on here. Oh, actually, here is a very fun one, and this was one of the first ones on my list, and it is yet to be completed. I would like to be in White Dwarf.
Oof.
Now, it doesn't have to be me writing an article or my army being shown off. It could just be I write a letter in, and
Hmm.
they put it in the White Dwarf. So it's like
Right.
loose like that, but like I White Dwarf is what, like, before YouTube and all that stuff. White Dwarf is like what I clung to. I bought that magazine religiously, and I would pore over it day after day after day until the next one came out.
Yeah. I
And
love those magazines. Yeah. Absolutely.
I still buy that. When they went weekly, I still bought all the weekly ones.
Hmm.
And I've ever since, actually, pretty much ever since weekly, like a little bit before weekly, is when I've been buying it every time.
Yeah. I can remember when they came out monthly, and I would buy them because I had no disposable income, and just buying them and looking through them made me feel like part of the hobby.
Yes.
Like I would just kind of look at all the stuff that I wish I had, right?
Yeah.
Just like, just imagining, having that kind of crap. And, it was just such a cool magazine, such a good, better painted than anything I could paint, and
Well, I mean,
just really. Mhm.
I probably said this before in the podcast. I know I said it to you, but remembering getting the high elf copy of the magazine, the 8th edition book came out, and just seeing all those gorgeous models, and then getting the army book, and
Mhm.
seeing all those gorgeous models, and then
Yeah.
culminating Culminating, peaking,
Accumulating.
accumulating. There it is.
There it is.
Words are hard tonight. Um, Going to Warhammer World and then seeing all those models that I poured over from such a young age till even now with those books in the glass case before me, I wanted to cry. It was like,
Man.
holy cow.
See, that's like, so I go back right to fourth ed, and you guys have heard me talk about this, but like thinking about the pictures with those like those green hills. You know
Yeah.
what they had? And there would be those high elf towers on it. And Teclis would be sitting there like this, in the middle of like this tower, right?
Yep.
And there'd be like a line of spearmen and then a line of static spearmen, by the way, very static. Everyone posed exactly the same. And then the archers, everyone posed exactly the same. And then, whatever, like Eltharion on the Griffin, or maybe it was Tyrion down there, it lined up against another goblin hero. And it was just like, I just I still love looking at it. And it's compared to today's models, it's terrible, but it has such nostalgia for me.
Oh yeah.
I just love it.
Yeah, I mean, it shows. I mean, looking behind you, if you're watching the video of this, Neil's table, it's display board when he's not using it. And if you look below, you can see a giant ass mountain.
I don't know if you can see it
That's
down
a little
there.
too far down. That's your crotch.
Yeah. That's my crotch. Well, it looks like you guys got another treat there.
There you go. Make sure if you want to see Neil's crotch shot, make sure you sub and like the YouTube video, guys. If you're
Hit
listening
that, pound that like button, right?
Yeah.
Like for the crotch.
So Neil, so we had go to Warhammer World, have a pint,
Mm-hmm.
do that trip. I guess I'm gonna rope you in. We're gonna go to an Australian event together. We're gonna, right?
If I went there and I didn't bring my wife,
Oh no,
again,
I
filing
brought my wife
papers.
to UK. I'm bringing my wife to Australia. Like I know I can't get away with that.
Yeah, to see if there's an event in Melbourne. I've got people I know down there, and so but if they got good casinos down there, man, it's Australia's awesome.
I know. I want to get.
Coach, if you're listening to this, we need a room and board.
Oh, he's a gem. He's a gem. Yeah, okay, so let's start. You got Warhammer World, Win a Best Sports. That's your second one. Do you have a third one that we missed? Did you say one?
That would be like a grand narrative /
That's right. Yeah.
US.
U.S. Open Grand Narrative type thing. All right, let's get you to 5. Let's find 2 more before we end this show. Because
I had best sports. Did we?
You did Best
say that?
Sports. So we have 3 so far.
Man,
Is there any
I don't
specific
know.
army that you want to paint and own that you haven't done yet? That's a worthy bucket list one.
Oh my God! Looking back there, I have so many, so many.
What about Armies on Parade? Is that an award you've ever wanted to win, or
I
you want to get an article on the Warcom site?
That's never gonna happen.
You never know.
Yeah, well, I mean that'd be a pie in the sky one.
Listen, I never thought
But,
I'd get Terathi to become official lore, but I did. She's on this list.
yeah, tell you what. Um,
What about
I would love.
yeah.
No, I have an Idneth Deepkin army, but that is very much my daughter's army, who, by the way, has told me recently of her own volition that she wants to play Warhammer. So I think I have to get the new.
You do. Maybe
So
play with a crop top on.
yeah, yeah, right, yeah. Intimidate the shit out of her.
Yeah.
Uh,
Show her what the power
I'd like
stance
to
is.
own a high elf, like an if it comes out, if and when the Tyrion faction
For
high elves.
for
I would
Lumineth.
like to see what they look like, but I do want an AOS elf army that is completely mine at some point. So that would be good.
That's a great one. Too, I'll throw a little maybe softball one that might be fun for you to try. For your 5th one, run a 40K event. Why not?
Not on my bucket list.
Man,
Hashtag not my bucket list.
I didn't say you had to run a competitive one. Didn't say you had to run one that followed all the rules.
I already did. Technically, I already did
No,
actually. Now,
you can't count Adepticon. You
oh,
could
it was in the pack. It was in the pack.
that was agnostic, and because you allowed the Conquest game to count and the Marvel Crisis, no, it doesn't count.
I actually did not allow that to count. You allowed that to count,
No,
and I'm not sure
no,
that
you
was
caved.
allowed.
You caved. I gave them a double loss, sir. You caved, not me.
Oh my goodness, I'm not sure I did, but
You did. You were drinking. We were all
drunk.
drinking.
So
Okay.
run a 40K event.
It's
You
just an option. I mean, I'm trying to think what else like. Maybe is there like do you want to like write a? I mean, or do you want to like become attached to a specific army? Like I'm clearly attached to Daughters of Cain. I just throw so much at that. I love it so much. But do you want to be like so far onto an army via social media or even just your friends where they look at Neil and they're like, boom, it's this. This is his army. If he doesn't show up that army, it's like, what the hell are you doing?
I would
Just thoughts.
Caradron. The Caradron Overlords are one that I really love, but also Corn is also one of my is like.
Yeah. See, I associate you with Corn more. That's kind of how I met you. So
yeah, my Caradron army was my hobby army.
Yeah,
like I did that one just to have boats, do a cool thing with whatever with the pinup girls on them and everything like that. So that's essentially what that army was.
Actually,
for
you know
me.
what?
I don't know.
You know, what'd be a good one for you. Maybe attend Holy Wars, or Holy Havoc.
I would love to do that.
Which is, like I said, while I'd still say Raw is my favorite event I've ever attended, that's my second.
Yeah, I would love to do that. That would be interesting.
That's a bucket list worthy event for sure.
Because that is also an event. Holy Wars and Raw, Realms at War, were two things that I took from. I even talked to Steve Herner at one point, and I was just like, "Hey, I love this idea. Do you mind if I steal it?"
And he was like,
it.
"Have at
but
it,
I'm,
sir."
Oh, he didn't even care at all.
Yeah.
But like the Holy Wounds type thing was that idea, and I put the I call them something different, like unstoppable wounds, something completely unimaginative and stupid, because Holy Wounds was taken, and I couldn't think anything cooler than that. So, and also Mortal Wounds was taken. So, but yeah, so that's a good one.
Yeah,
yeah.
No, it was one on my bucket list too. I was scrolling through trying to find something that might be like tangential to you, but yeah, and if you're out there right now, Holy Wars, Holy Havoc, over in Illinois, and it's two events. They're both team events now, which I applaud Steve for doing because he wants more people to be able to come play them. He doesn't want to grow the event, but he wants more people to come play. He doesn't want to make more he has the best tables in wargaming.
That's tough to make those tables, man. I understand that.
Absolutely, like nothing tops them. And playing on them is a joy. Like you're playing on them, and you want to take pictures of all your models. And you're like, oh shoot, I have to actually roll dice and do this stuff. Like,
yeah.
Okay.
You know what? I'm gonna add. I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off,
You're
but
good.
I just thought of one that I want. I had this thought earlier, and I know I've shared it with you before. But one thing I really want to do. There's two more bucket list things I want to get off my chest.
We got 7 now. That's great.
Number one is I do want like the barn situation.
Yep.
I want to have happen locally. So like your hobby club and everything is just
Shout out
so
to the
amazing.
Barn Owls.
I want that. I want that locally only because I can't go to yours.
You can.
Too far away.
A 3-hour drive.
Too far away to make it an hour, like a weekly thing. I would just, if I was close to you, man, I would be there every week. But I want to do that here. And okay, the other one was like I had this idea of running an event at a campground where people would just like come get like cabins and shit, and like it's a 2-day event. You spend a night, whatever. Like people are just camping like throughout the event and everything. And if I'd have to find like an indoor bunch of tables and stuff like that, but I've seen campgrounds that have them, whatever. So
you say that, but
I would love to do that.
If you're in a place where the weather's good, like I still kind of miss outdoor Warhammer. So I think that's what we did during like all the COVID bullshit. I fell in love with it. Even when it was like sweaty and gross and like 86% humidity.
Right. You
Out
got the
there with
coolers out there filled with the beer and everything.
exactly. You're just like, man,
Yeah.
this is the life.
You're grilling up on the porch. That's the stuff right there.
Yeah. Like, oh, I should have another event this summer. Sorry. No, plans are in my head now because I want this to happen. Okay. No, that's great. Those are all wonderful, wonderful bucket list items. And I said, I encourage you, Neil, to write them down so you can check them off as you get through them. And because if you write it down, it becomes more real and you work towards it on some level. It might be years away. I know you got kids, but hey, in 10 years' time, you and I, hopefully we're in England. And we're playing some Warhammer at Warhammer World together. And we're crushing Bugman's beers. I enjoyed it a lot. Just don't even eat the food. Just drink the beer.
I got a tax return coming too. That's another thing. So
There you go.
There
you go. I have to buy a Taylor Swift ticket soon, so I don't have money.
We'll wait till it all aligns, the stars align.
Yeah, maybe. I bet we can get there. 3 years.
2 years?
2 years.
We'll
talk after. But okay, so and everyone else at home, if you're listening, definitely I encourage you to do a bucket list. Start it small. Start simple. Put on at least one. Shoot for 5 items. Make one of them so big and so outlandish you have no idea if you're ever going to accomplish it. And it should be like visit Warhammer World, but like do it. It will give you more enjoyment out of this hobby when you see that you've accomplished it, and you'll realize you've done so many more amazing things getting to that big goal that you never thought you'd do anyway, and you realize you like just do it. And if you're listening on YouTube, put it in the comments below. What's your 5 bucket list items? I'm curious, like, because people think differently. Some people might be all about trophies. Some people be all about travel.
Put it in the comments.
Yes.
Put it in the comments. Yeah.
Now, to wrap up the show, because we kind of glossed past it briefly. So this is kind of like an end hobby type section thing here. So me, you, and Matt are attending NashCon. And you wanted to talk about this during the hobby section, and I forgot. So let's talk about it now. So NashCon. I'm going to hit this bucket list item of attending NashCon finally. It's been on there for a while, and I've tried to go the past 3 years, but one time I caught COVID, the other time I had a work trip, and this year it's stars are aligning and I'm going. Knock on wood that I don't get sick and can't go for whatever reason. So me, you, Matt, we're going to be down there at NashCon. We're all taking the same army, different lists.
By design.
By design. Do you want to elaborate what we're doing?
So everybody is taking a Caradron Overlord's army, and we are going to do a tournament within the tournament. There's been a little bit of shit talking that's been going on between
a lot of shit talking.
A lot of shit talking between the Strength Hammer v Big M's Power Hour podcast. Right now, Strength Hammer is
dominating,
well above.
Rushing.
There is. Oh my god! I mean, I don't know why they even wake up in the morning, honestly. But
we crushed them so hard on our charge, Neil, that they had to roll insane bravery, and they can't.
Yeah, they can't. And
they're routing, and we're chasing them down right now.
Matt had to come up with some kind of shitty nickname for me. That's how bad it is. Like it's. I mean, that's embarrassing, really, because the nickname's terrible. Son of a bitch, Neil.
Son of a bitch, Neil.
I revel in it.
Yeah, like, it's a title now. It's a title.
Like a big rolling shit. I love it. But we are going to see who amongst us can come out on top. Now, granted, Strength Hammer is going to have an advantage here because there are 2 of us, and
I think we're competing individually.
True.
This is individual.
It is individual, but it'll, of course, it'll come back to that too.
Oh, absolutely. We'll smack talk on them.
But Cole was unable to attend, unfortunately.
Right. Because the original plan was because Cole was going to come too, and we were all going to take Khorne because the only person who didn't have a Khorne army was Matt, and he was willing to paint one up for it. But since Cole couldn't come, we looked at other armies. We all have KO. Now Matt has to paint 30 more models because it's Matt.
Right.
He gets an idea in his head and he's pushing for it.
Right.
And he's going to be sick of the army by the time we're driving down there, but whatever.
Yeah. And he'll never play it again. However, no, so we'll see who finishes above the rest. I will put a caveat in here. One major rule will be if you play the ringer and you win against the ringer, even if you lost against the ringer, Matt. Uh, it does not count if that win launches you above somebody else.
Well,
so
I propose this idea, and I'm going to encourage it and enforce it and just do it anyway. I want to write up a contract between our three fleets that we sign as our three fleets. And that will be the award, essentially. It will be that, and maybe something else, but like that's going to be the award, is this signed contract between the three of us about who's the best KO to get to win. But within there, we could set our own parameters on what we feel winning is. Now, I'll caveat that I want it to be within the context of the event David's running, because I don't want to show up to someone else's event and play something completely different than what everyone else is. But like, he's going to be a competitive event. There's two lists. So, we could make our own scoring system like, okay, we're just worrying about who gets the most battle tactics, or how many times did you use this list versus that list. Like things that are built within the structure of the event he's running, so we play true to that event. But we have our own little priorities separated within that event of what we feel is the best amongst the three of us.
Sure. I love it. And to me as well, if anybody else thinks about doing this, it's actually adding a whole lot more fun to this event than if I was just going and playing a straight up tournament. Because even though I'm going to be playing the opponent across from me, I know that when I'm playing that opponent across from me, I'm actually playing two other people at the same time.
Right. So. And I mean, NashCon brings a high caliber of person. It's a very tough event to do well at.
Right.
I'll be honest with where my skill set is at with just wargaming, because I've been enjoying fun and narrative for so long now. I don't know if I could compete to try and win that event in any way, shape, or form, even if I started focusing on it right now.
Right.
So that said, instead of worrying about beating everybody else at this event, I'm just worried about beating you and Matt.
Right.
And it adds, but it adds a lot more fun. It adds a lot more personal level. I may even reach out to David and be like, "Hey, this is what we're doing. This, give him the heads up. Like, we're not breaking your event rules or anything. We're playing within your confines. We're doing this. But after the award ceremony's done, would you hand this award to whoever won with us? We'll let you know who won." And we'll have it clearly stated, not an official NashCon award.
Yes.
But,
oh my god, that's great.
Yeah, but I mean that's a fun thing. Heck, that could be a bucket list thing for somebody out there. Like you have three friends to do stupid shit with at a tournament.
I would love to see everybody's faces when three jackasses. They're like Neil, and I'm getting all fired up for the award, and everybody's like, "What the fuck is this?"
No, like I wouldn't make him. I wouldn't ask Dave to do it in front of everybody. I'd be like, "Hey, just on the side."
Oh my god, that's.
I don't want. I have no intention of screwing with the integrity and the glory that is this event. I'm just gonna ask him like, "Hey, can you do this for a couple jackholes or being silly off on the side, and then the bottom 25%?"
Right. Yeah. Much more comfortable with that.
Yeah, exactly. But still, it's a fun thing. I'm looking forward to it. And it does make it a little bit more exciting in its own way. Which, and it's gonna be a weird caveat, because I've done the same thing before, but in an opposite manner. It's back when Fantasy Battles was really big in my area, we'd have local one-day RTTs with 20 plus people, which is huge. And me, my buddy Frank, and my buddy Tom we played multiple games a week. We just love this game, and we got hyper competitive. Like we would build our lists, tournament lists for fantasy. Like I would play High Elves at the time. That was my go-to. And I built a list, magic items, command squad, everything that I want in that list. And then I'd play it for like a month and a half without using any of those upgrades. I'd play as if I had no command, no magic items, no banners, no nothing. A BSB, but like just negative BSB. Because then I learned how each of those models on a base level function that whenever I went to the tournament and then was using the magic stuff again and the command, whew, just crushed. So the three of us realized we became the big fish, little pond type scenario. So we would have a separate award outside of the tournament award, where it was who did the best out of the three of us, because we were usually 1, 2, 3, or
Well,
some like we were always in the top 5.
right.
So, but now I like it. We're doing it the opposite. Because we're all
We're
so
the worst.
terrible that we're just
Yeah.
doing it for. So it's like it's the circle is complete for me, Neil.
Right.
Yes,
But an amazing way to enjoy your events when you know your skill level is not going to even touch the top table. You know.
exactly. But yeah, so let us know in the comments what you think of that silly little thing we're doing for NashCon. Let us know, more importantly, the bucket list items you have.
Mhm.
And yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this. It's a very different show. I've never heard anyone do this type of topic before,
Mhm.
but I think it's a definitely worthwhile one, and it'll help you get farther in this hobby journey than you ever thought possible. So, any closing thoughts on it, Neil?
Not really. Yeah, I'd echo your comments. Just I really hope some people do comment on this and actually just let us know what you guys are trying to accomplish. I'd love to read it.
Yeah, and tweet at me, DM me on Instagram. Like I'll share them with Neil. But yeah, it's something I've always done, and it's never been a mistake adding more lofty goals to it. So till next week, everybody, happy hobbying, stay Stormcast strong. Neil, close it out.
Geez, you're hitting me with nothing.
I am.
Tell you what, you guys throw away your arcane tomes because that shit's gone.
Yep.